First of all, what concessions did the government make that its predecessor was not willing to make to get the deal over the line? Secondly, I was also shocked, Madam Deputy Speaker, that there's a very significant piece of information left out of the Minister's statement today, which we only found out from the statement from the Indian government. Why did Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi make a point of announcing an agreement of a double contribution convention between India and the UK, and yet the Minister today has made not even a passing reference to it in his statement or in his press release? A double contribution convention will come at a significant cost to the British taxpayer and to British businesses. It means workers who have entered into the UK under this convention are eligible to only pay national insurance contributions in their home country, in this case, India. Now, we only know again from the press release, Madam Deputy Speaker, that this exemption from national insurance contributions for Indian workers will be for 3 years. Does that mean that Indian workers currently in Britain will get a refund from HMRC? Or does it mean that new Indian workers will not pay any contributions in the first place? Did the Exchequer effectively give away a massive subsidy to get this trade deal over the line? Will it really be 20% cheaper for businesses in the UK to hire Indian workers than British workers? Will this convention only apply to seconded employees of Indian companies, or will it apply more broadly to all Indian workers in the UK, and if so, from when? How many additional work visas will be made under this agreement to Indian workers? And would this convention really mean that an Indian-owned restaurant chain in the UK could pay their chef, for example, no national insurance here, while the British pub next door pays full national insurance for their curry chef? So can the Minister outline what the cost is of this agreement on the Treasury? How many British nationals does the government anticipate making use of these reciprocal rights in India? Because, Madam Deputy Speaker, I fear we have gone from two-tier care to two-tier taxes care for British workers. This government is literally putting up taxes for British workers, but cutting them for Indian workers. As it stands, this deal looks like it's subsidising Indian labour while undercutting British workers. Can the government back our domestic market by scrapping its job tax? Now, I look forward to hearing from the Minister in answer to these questions with a reply that actually answers them. And if he chooses, just as he sometimes does, to bat away genuine questions from the dispatch box, could he follow up in writing? Thank you.
Minister. Thank you, Madam Deputy Speaker, and can I thank the honourable member for a recognition of this as a landmark deal, although I have to say it wasn't her most generous welcome of a deal that is right to recognise the previous government worked for many months to try and secure, albeit they didn't manage to close the most difficult remaining issues. I seem to remember that it was actually a former leader of the Conservative Party, the former member for Whitney, who promised that the Conservative Party would stop banging on about Europe. Alas, that doesn't seem to have been advice that's been taken in relation to the approach to today's landmark agreement with India. She inquired how we got the deal done in relation to what our predecessors failed to do. Respectfully, I would say it was by a process of patient, pragmatic and painstaking work. It was a very different approach than the kind of Instagram diplomacy that all too often characterised the approach of past trade secretaries and trade ministers. That allowed us, with the political leadership shown by the Secretary of State, for example, to close significant chapters on goods and on services. That allowed us to be able to then reach a considered judgment that meant with stability of political leadership, with clarity of ministerial direction, we were able, frankly, to secure concessions from the Indians and to be able to conclude the agreement in a way that eluded our predecessors. She asked specifically about the Double Contribution Convention. That is, I can assure her, a reciprocal agreement which will benefit UK workers and their employers as the opportunity within India expands. India is going to be one of the world's largest middle classes in the coming decades. The agreement will only cover, I can assure her, a very specific and limited group of Indian business people for a period of 3 years. There are other arrangements in place by the Indians that extend longer than that, it's worth recognising.